You know when you're looking at an old family photo and you just get this feeling that there are stories hidden right behind the smiles? Well, today we're diving into a story just like that. It's about a daughter who stumbles upon a 50-year-old secret that completely upends everything she thought she knew about her mother. It really makes you ask, how much do the choices of our parents' generation really shape our own lives?
And our story really kicks off with that exact feeling, a small, persistent flicker of something wrong. For one woman, this flickering light isn't just a bad bulb. It's almost like a warning that the past she has worked so hard to wall off is about to come flooding back in.
So let me introduce you to Mrs. Bai, or Wen Ying. She lives this very quiet, very solitary life. Her days are structured around simple routines, almost like a fortress she's built to keep her memories out. But as we're about to find out, some walls just can't hold forever.
And that fortress, it's about to get a huge crack in it, all because of one single, totally unexpected event, a phone call. A call that's going to yank Mrs. Bai right back into a world she thought she'd escaped a lifetime ago.
So she picks up the phone, and it's this woman, a complete stranger named Gu Meiling. But the things she talks about, they're not strange at all. She talks about Shanghai during the Japanese occupation, and then she says she has something that belongs to Mrs. Bai's family.
So, against her better judgment, maybe, Mrs. Bai agrees to meet her. And there, in this quiet suburban house, Gu Meiling hands her this small wooden box. She explains that Mrs. Bai's mother gave it to her all those years ago, terrified it would fall into the wrong hands, and she'd been keeping it safe ever since.
And inside is a photograph. It's her mother, Peilan, looking just as beautiful and elegant as she remembers. But she's not alone. Standing right next to her, smiling, is an officer in the uniform of the Kempe Tai, the notoriously brutal Japanese secret police. In an instant, the image of her mother that she's held on to her whole life, the stoic, respectable widow, just shatters. In its place is a total stranger, and this one, single, devastating question that's about to unravel everything.
So, to even begin to wrap her head around this photo, Mrs. Bai has to understand the world her mother was living in. And, more importantly, the person she had to become to survive it.
This term right here, shuang mian ren, it's absolutely key. It literally means a double-faced person. Gu Meiling reveals that Peilan wasn't just a victim of the war. No, she was an informant, playing both sides, the Japanese and the Chinese resistance, in a truly desperate game to stay alive.
So you've got this complete split, right? On one hand, there's the mask, the dignified widow that Mrs. Bai always knew. But the reality, hidden for over 50 years, was a woman caught up in espionage and betrayal, doing whatever it took to keep her daughter safe.
And you have to be asking, why? Why would she take that kind of risk? Well, her choices weren't about greed or politics. They came from something much, much more primal, a mother's sheer desperation.
It was this grim, step-by-step descent. First, she sold off every valuable thing they owned, piece by piece, until there was nothing left. When that wasn't enough, she had to accept the protection of a wealthy businessman. And when even that wasn't enough to guarantee their safety, she took the most dangerous step of all.
At the end of the day, every single compromising choice, every terrible secret she kept, it all came down to one thing: protecting her little girl, Wen Ying. This wasn't about right or wrong in a simple way. This was about a mother's fierce, desperate love in a world that had completely fallen apart.
But you know, choices like that, they don't just disappear. They cast these incredibly long shadows. And as Mrs. Bai starts to uncover her mother's hidden life, she starts to see where her own pain, her own isolation, really began. Because tucked away in that box with the photo, there's a letter from her mom. And this one line, wow, it just says everything. I spent so many years pretending that I forgot how to be anyone at all. The mask she wore to survive eventually just became her face, leaving her completely hollowed out, unable to connect even with her own daughter. It's like that emotional armor became a hand-me-down, a silent inheritance. Mrs. Bai never knew why, but she built the exact same walls around her own heart. She became a mirror of the mother she never really knew at all.
And for the very first time, it's like a light bulb goes off for Mrs. Bai. She sees the line connecting her mother's secrets to her own silent suffering. A brutal first marriage, the unimaginable grief of losing her baby girl, and just a lifetime of pretending she was okay. The secrets hadn't died with her mother. They'd been living inside her this whole time.
All right, this is where it all comes together. The final pieces of the puzzle, where two letters, written decades apart, finally reveal the full, gut-wrenching story.
In her letter, Peilan isn't really asking for forgiveness. She's just pleading for understanding. And this one line completely reframes her entire life. I was not a monster. I was only a woman caught in a time of monsters. But just when you think the story can't get any more complex, bam, another letter shows up. It's almost unbelievable, but through a crazy twist of fate, she receives an unsent letter from Captain Yamamoto himself, the officer from the photograph found by his granddaughter. And this letter, it flips the whole script. It reveals the final, shocking truth. The relationship wasn't just about collaboration or survival. He claims he had fallen in love with her. What looked like a simple story of betrayal was actually this tragic, impossible love story, caught right in the crossfire of a brutal war.
So, finally, with the whole messy, complicated truth out in the open, Mrs. Bai can find some peace. The story of secrets transforms into a legacy of empathy. A legacy she decides to pass on to her niece, symbolized by giving her the family's old jade hairpin. The silence that haunted her family for decades is finally broken.
The story ends with this simple, really profound hope. May it be enough. And that's a question for all of us, isn't it? Can we ever really, truly know the people who came before us? And when we do uncover their truths, all the flaws, all the pain, can we find it in ourselves to say that, in the end, just understanding is enough?